Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Michael. Today, I hate it when I'm right, but I don't know if you heard recently about the issue about the cars for kids. It's something about some organization that is has this big jingle about cars for kids, and they donate, and they're getting millions and millions of dollars. And it turns out that it's belongs to some sort of Jewish defense fund, and most likely it's probably for weapons or something. Guess it's not enough that we give them $1 trillion a year, but that's nevertheless here anyway. But hate it when I'm right type stuff. But anyway, good to see you or talk anyway. I'm so happy when these things come on. It's like I feel like I'm unloading something, or I have a burden or something. Today, we're just going to kind of go briefly over this issue of the healthcare bill, but actually this is specifically towards the Mexican people, because now all of this stuff is happening because of the Mexicans. Now, apparently, the NAFTA thing is in big disarray now. So, and then Cinco de Mayo was just like yesterday. So, a bunch of parties, but I didn't hear anything really outrageous. I guess all the drunk Mexicans are kind of sobered up, and wonder when they're going to be deported. But, it kind of reminded me of this little story, because I had this little issue in Napa, California. And, the one thing that I noticed about there was a bunch of these Mexican guys running around there, and they were all illegal. They could barely speak any English, but they were kind of like intimidating the rest of the people in the community. It was like, really? I can't believe this. And these guys were just a bunch of drunks, and they were talking amongst themselves and stuff. So I ended up there one night, and I brought a movie or something to play, and this guy was just being belligerent up, saying, "Hey, dude, I'm watching a movie, man." "Oh, you can." I said, "Listen, man, I'm going to call the immigration. You want to say something else, step your ass back over in the corner, and, we can talk about the immigration services, because last I checked, you ain't even got no business being here." Guy sat down, started mumbling to himself, go back in their corner. But, it was really funny, because at some point they actually knew that there was somebody there that would actually call the immigration services on them. So they had a bunch of get right. There was nobody getting drunk anymore. They weren't bringing their crank around, and, they weren't trying to peddle the little white girls, and, and I'm like, well, whatever, man, that's your business. I was just there to get through my waiting for, I don't know, my apartment, this place here. I was actually waiting for this spot right here, because the other person had to be evicted. I don't know, maybe they were Mexicans, I don't know. But anyway, the big issue that's going on now, besides the immigration thing, is the fact that a lot of the problems are going to reoccur specifically for the Mexican people, because now you've got all of these people that have to go back to Mexico, and the majority of them are probably women and their kids, because see, the dudes, they have these big macho problems. And they like to talk a lot of game, but it's like I said earlier, these guys aren't that big. They're pretty small. It's not like like me, I'm a giant, but I don't know, it's kind of weird how they treat these chicks. And then one guy, I was on a job, he could barely speak any English, and he was showing these pictures, man, of these girls that were showing them their snatch and everything else, and I'm like, dude, what is that? Is that thing that's hanging over the girls, their little cleavage, their little pussy or whatever? That little thing that hangs down like that? I never noticed nobody had a name to that. But it's kind of specific to, like, the Mexican chicks, because they don't exercise. They just sit there and just throw their legs up, I guess, or something. And then they have this thing just falling all on themselves. And I'm like, dude, what is that? Somebody gave me a name one time, and I'm like, well, whatever. I don't have that problem, because there's very few tall Mexican girls anyway, so I don't really pay attention to them anyway. They can't get past 5'5", I think, at some point. And if there was, I'd probably be able to see them better. Wow, what are you doing up here? You're actually like 5'10" or something. But anyway, the issue is, listen, they redid this travel ban thing, and I think they're going to come out with another one here, if I understand correctly, after they get beat down by this healthcare thing. But I believe now they may get this right simply because of the fact that, see, I'm doing a couple of things right now that are going to wake a couple of people up, and basically that is the fact that the Mexican community are really harboring these criminals, and now that the state of California is, that's not in my best interest, so they're harming me. So they're going to get to the point to where they're going to say, well, wait a minute, we can't really have sanctuary cities when who's going to take care of these people? We already talked about this. But listen, and I'm going to give you this issue because it may sound like I'm racist or something like this towards the Mexican people, but it's not really, because, like I said before, me and my family, we used to pick grapes and watermelons and peaches and oranges and stuff, with the Mexican people. And this was when I was really young, and, we always had a great respect for the Mexican people. But for some reason or other, when these paisas and these southerners and all these people start coming in, all of a sudden, that macho thing came in, and then all of a sudden the Mexican people are really better than everybody. Now all of a sudden you got all these little short people that want to be all essay and this and that other shit. And I'm like, my dad, my dad was never a very vocal person, right? He's pretty docile, especially compared to my mom, but the dude would, for some reason or another, he just really didn't take very kindly to the Hispanic community, because he told me that they lied all the time. And I understand that, to a certain extent, because, you see, the one thing that the Mexican people will always do, they'll side with the other Mexican people. And in my culture, it's not like that. Usually in my family, my mom and dad were never going to side with us just because we were their children. It was because of whether we did something right or wrong. It wasn't because, that's my child. My mama don't care. Neither does my dad. Well, my dad probably more because, he had two sons, and me and my brother. But you did something wrong? Oh, my dad getting ready to whoop your ass. My mom, right behind him. Oh, you didn't whoop him good enough. I'm going to have to get at him when you get done, because you was just too nice and and my mom, buddy, leave him alone. I'll whoop his little behind and, things like that. But they just, it was never because I was their child, okay? But the Mexican people, they'll steal just because they're Mexicans. They will rob you just because another Mexican robbed you. They will do things just because another Mexican said do something to you. And this is where that big issue of why their country doesn't prosper is the way it should. It's like Touristville. You got two sides of Mexico down here that have nothing but fish and shoreline and some of the most pristine beaches on the planet, but yet everybody's in poverty. Come on, man. If it's the children, like you maybe had too many, cut back. Do something. I don't know. But it's kind of stupid. But in my lifetime, the Mexican country has probably had its money devalued probably about 3 times. Heard probably it's done recently. I don't know. But listen, the one issue that I have to say about the Mexican people is they're very hard workers. We already know that. They'll work for cheap. But you got to remember, they're going to steal you blind. As soon as they know they're working for cheap, they're going to steal their way into a better profit margin. So, the thing is that the Mexicans talk the same way about us back in the 60s, about how we were always the ones that were going to ruin the community, how the black people were going to come in and tear everything down and make everything bad and all these other things. But this is another reason why the state's going to get sued, is because of the fact that, you got a whole lot of Mexican people in these positions of authority now, and now you're harboring these illegal aliens. And the one thing that my argument is going to be is the fact that, okay, I'm a veteran, I pay my taxes, got some property, some other things, but yet you dog me. You double my fines, which we talked about. We talked about the thing about the government and how they never seem to have enough money for the black community. but yet they're, writing stuff in Spanish. They're making sure these people have an interpreter, and then they turn around and make sure that when they go illegal, that they have a place to stay, work, and actually just muscle their way in. So that's the reason why my situation is the way it is. It's not because of the Mexican people, because really I'm not in a kind of situation because of them. Because for me as a carpenter, when I get on the job, all I got to do is show up. Everybody wants me to work because I'm the big guy. I'm the one that's going to be able to pick up anything and everything. I refuse to start working with these guys now is because they're too short. They always injure me. They're always dropping something, or, they can't do this or can't do that. Get on the roof, get in the attic, you're cool. But in the meantime, when it comes to beams and when it comes to these large issues, when you don't have the size and the weight to push that type of material around, needs to back up, man. Stay with the composition or something, But everybody has a place. And that's the reason why. When you have a construction site like me and my homies, we did a job out in Malibu Canyon. And this guy, I think I told everybody how he would call immigration, and he was giving away trucks and stuff. And but the thing was, there was so many of them because they couldn't do the work. Me and three of my guys. Well, me and three guys were one crew, and I had another 4 guys that was another crew. So here's how it goes. The one guy set up, after the thing is snap plate and detailed. No, we start numbering, we start doing, everybody starts framing, everything starts putting together. We don't need so many people on the slab because we give everybody a corner, everybody builds to the center. And the next thing you know, bam, boom, we just quartered that building out. And with them, it's like, it takes like 8 people, 6, 8 people to do with maybe just 4. And really, I as a crew guy, I'm not really working that hard. I'm not doing the slamming or anything else. I'm just prepping, laying things out, making sure everybody gets things going, blah, blah, blah. And that's what the other guy's doing. So there's really only like 3 guys working the 8. But the other is strategizing, putting things in order, making sure that the the sequences are there, top plates, lead-ins, blah, 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 all that other good stuff. So, like I said, I don't have no problem with the Mexican people. They're, if they're going to take over, that's fine. But one thing that I do have a problem with is the fact that, you guys treat your women like shit, man. And right now, from what I understand here, down in Central America, these people are fed up, especially the women. It's kind of like the way the Muslim women are getting treated right now. Everybody's rebelling against you bunch of men that just think that for some reason or other you're going to treat and Mexican dudes, y'all got bad habit of kidnapping people and leaving them in the basements and in the garages. That shit got to stop, man. Come on, man. Cut that out, man. That's just weak. So the girl don't like you. Okay? Be like the dude in Santa Barbara. Kill your freaking roommate. Don't go after the women, man. We need extra women, when the apocalypse go down and all you punks start shooting yourselves. But anyway, and it's sad, but one thing I'm not going to tolerate anymore, and I'm taking this out on the state and, the banks and all these corporations. I'm going to take that out on them because you bunch of... Forget it. You don't like me anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not looking to do things. But listen... when me and my parents were raising me, again, I think I talked to you about our friend Billy Lopez. He lived across the street. He was an inventor. I love that guy. My mom liked him. We were cool. Everybody was cool. But, other than that, you got these guys that just keep thinking they're very highly of themselves. And, I've always told you, I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Right? Get it right. So, I look at this from an issue of, now that everybody's segregated themselves, everything's going to get broke up. Because, personally, I kind of like the way things are going now. Because now everybody's at each other. And that's cool, really, because you don't have enough sense. You got what you deserve. Just like you got that president. That dude, Donald Trump, you deserve that guy. And the best part about this is, you guys don't have nowhere to run. I realize that. You ain't got nowhere to go. Don't nobody like you. Ain't nobody going to sit around here and deal with you no more. Especially after that guy. It'll be like, no, America, you can forget it. We ain't going to trust him for nothing. Why? Because when he said something, yeah, I meant that, but I don't mean it now. Don't bother. Reminds me of some people that I've lived with all my life, like white people. Lie, 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 all the time. But you know, Mexicans are white people because you're not black. And like I said earlier, this is a black and white thing. You don't believe it, but it's boiling down to that. And like I said earlier when I got in here, I hate it when I'm right. But right now, let me give you a little glimpse into what's about to happen here. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, boys. South Africa. See, let me explain. As much as I would like to have that good peace on earth, goodwill towards men thing, it's not going to happen simply because of the fact that it's not supposed to happen. And I was just reading in my scripture right before I got on here, you know, what God did to some of those people that were wandering around in the desert. I don't even think I'm going to mention their name anymore. It's kind of ridiculous. He told them, he said, listen, you know, this guy here, he's not going in because he didn't act right. You guys better put your game together because at some point or another, as this moves forward, I've done this, and this. And as time goes on, you want more idols. You want more of your own control in your own lives. And then you continue to not be satisfied with what is given. I'm content. Later on, we're going to start talking about these 7 deadly sins. And I'm going to tell you something. You're about to get your mind blown out. Cinco de Mayo. Mother's Day's coming up. We're talking about that too. But listen, if I could find a nice, tall Mexican girl, Vargas type, breastabus, intelligent, can hold a conversation, you need to get at me. Somebody, do a thumbs up on me or do something. Just send her my way. I'm over here. Come on now. Don't be chintzy. So, listen. The purpose to these videos are to communicate. Listen, we all want the same things. We want our bills paid. We want our families and everybody to get along together. We want our community that's clean and that is progressive for everyone. If you don't want that, don't even watch the video. Because last I checked, you're the problem. Oh, check this out. I don't know if the lady was Mexican or not, but you know, I went to the dentist the other day, and the dentist actually told me that I needed to go to the emergency room to get a prescription. Man, I called my insurance company, man, and made a formal complaint. You guys should do that too, because you know something, what I'm noticing now is that customer service is not what it used to be. And especially when it comes to people like the Mexicans, if they don't speak good English, you really, you know, you could pretty much sue the corporation because at some point or another, where your needs are not being met. You're sitting here dealing with somebody who is not able to communicate. This is starting to turn into America First thing, so I'm going to make it America First. I speak good English. Anybody that doesn't speak good English, you really shouldn't even be here. I'm not going to bother, but anybody cross my path is sounding cracking. Better act like you can walk to the right. Everybody, to the right. All right, everybody. Love you. God bless. Hope everything's going better. Bye.